Hola, what is happening, Big Brown Breakdown listeners? It's good to be back. New studio. This place is twice the size of the last one. I don't think we're going to go with the art mural like we did last time. I think we have so much fan art. You see the art behind me, which is... I bought these pieces because they're hilarious. It's Mario shaving, if you can't see on the camera. Can they see this shot or no? It's all good. It's Mario shaving. It's Spider-Man taking a break from whooping ass, eating a cheeseburger. And it's RoboCop, my personal fave, downing a nice, cold container of oil. It's like superheroes being regular people. It's so hilarious to me. And then the one we're not hanging up on here, we're going to hang around the studio. It's Peter Pan watching YouPorn on a laptop. It's hilarious. Shout out to the artist who ever did these. I think it's a French guy who made these. I bought all of them from the same place. There was like a collection. There's a few more too. We might have to get all of them.
Superheroes?
All
or
superheroes.
Not superheroes.
Kind of super. I mean,
guys.
Mario's a superhero. RoboCop's superhero. I
Video
guess.
game superhero.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot more space. It looks good. A little more professional in the back there. Looks dope. You got the zebra head that Chin accidentally broke.
I glued the ear back on, so it kind of looks a little better, but the
No, it
whole
looks
back
good.
is
I don't
gone.
think did you order that other one?
I did.
Okay. I mean,
We got
that one,
two of them.
That one looks dope, though.
I got another
Yeah,
one of those zebras,
so we
too.
got a gold zebra head, right? Or is it?
And another one of those, too. I just got it just in case.
You got a gold? Was it a gold zebra head or a gold hippo?
No, gold zebra head, and then another one of those.
It should be good. Yeah. I mean, we could put the gold zebra head above the California Republic sign and then the other zebras. I mean, we got space now.
Yeah.
Get some chairs in there, stuff like that. I mean, we're announced this too on tomorrow's episode, The Fire and the Kid, but MJ is no longer with us. MJ decided, she's getting busy. She's making the trek back and forth. She was driving an hour and change a day.
Like crazy, yeah.
Like crazy, yeah. And she was killing herself trying to make the show. So we made a team decision to go our separate ways. And I appreciate MJ for her hard work and all the stuff she did on social media. And she's gonna be fine. She's getting more hours doing yoga. She's getting more hours at Lululemon. She was killing herself to make this. So yeah. I just think it's best for everyone involved. So I think Chin and Shark Eyes Doll Smile, Jay Schaub, will be running the social media. Are you nervous about it?
Not nervous. It's just like
pretty
social
easy.
media.
It's pretty easy though.
I know. I've already been talking to Jay a little bit. We're gonna like figure out which ones we're gonna do instead of just doing it all together because we're gonna miss stuff.
Oh yeah. So. The big. Yeah. I mean, obviously, posting the shows is super easy.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you'll see fans or posting shirts or merchandise or at shows. So you just look out for that, whether they tag you or you look for the hashtags or whatever. You do that, maybe take an hour out of your day or something like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, man. I don't know if we need the clips like we used to post, with MJ or
those things I dig, though.
The clips?
Because it takes, like, skill.
Will you be able to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, damn. Oh, you can be able to do it from there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's way
obviously,
easier.
when you guys are talking about a subject where I'm not involved with it, I'll just film something
that makes
and
sense.
slap it
Especially
up.
when we kick it off, yeah. You should be able to do that. I didn't think about that.
Maybe with a better camera, too.
Tell you what, man, we've never been able to replace Keely. Just haven't. One of a kind. She was a beast. Shout out to Special K. But she's doing bigger, better things now. She's running Empire Mogul.
Empire Mobile.
Well, I should have said Makeup Mogul. Yeah. She's a makeup mogul trying to start her own empire. So shout out to Keely. Shout out to St. Louis and Denver. Just got back off the road. Have a little bit of downtime. Got this project I'm working in LA, so it's good to be home for a while, not on the road. As much as I love the road, as what's that gentleman's name? Who's the guy who dates Ariana Grande? White boy rapper.
Oh crap!
To quote him, he always says,
I'm just going to find his name because I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Who I never thought would imagine being with her. But
he said, and it's a MTV quote. Obviously, it's a MTV reference, and I quote. He says, "The road rules, but I need the real world." Mac Miller.
Yeah, Mac
That's
Miller.
right. I love Mac Miller. Hell yeah. Shout out to Mac Miller. I love the road rules, but I need the real world. That's his quote that I like to use all the time. Anyways, yeah, shout out to St. Louis. I got warned from so many comics not to go out there, and the crowds would be crazy. Don't get me wrong, the crowds were a little crazy, but good people in general. But 99.8% of the crowd was great. There's the 0.2 that are just McAssholes, and you're going to deal with that. For me, it's like training camp. It's good to get all those different vibes and have to deal with certain stuff like that. That's the way I look at it. And then Denver, my hometown, so many people, so many comics. Dude, Conworks, best room in the world. Best room you'll ever see. I'm like, God, relax, man. How much better can it be than these other ones? They are not lying. I don't know if it's the way it's built, where they're stoned, the way the crowd's there. But it was just, I mean, like no show I've ever had. Just crazy. Got my first standing ovation. It's my hometown, for God's sake, so I expect that.
Was your first standing? You had standing ovations on the tour.
Yeah, but it's different. It's like,
I guess hometown crowds.
Yeah,
much sweeter.
When I say standing, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I remember a few.
Yeah, we've got
sure.
Dublin, stuff like that.
Yeah,
you're right. I loved it out there, though. I need to do a full weekend up there. Next time on the road is February 23rd to the 21st. We're not doing a Sunday. So those of you that bought Sunday tickets to the Comedy Store in La Jolla, they're folding that Sunday show into Saturday. I have to be home for Sunday. So I think it's going to be a Friday, Saturday weekend in La Jolla, and that's at the Comedy Store. So get your tickets now. tfatk.com. Everything else is good, man. Health is back on track. It's not AIDS that some of you suspected. It is not AIDS. I'm happy to tell everyone that. I do have stage 1 pre-diabetes, but that's nothing to be alarmed with. It runs in my family, so it's just a marker that they caught in my blood work. Other than that, still no coffee. I'm trying to work it in slowly. The smell of coffee I'm still addicted to. The taste I am not. It's like if you got hammered off tequila or something like that, the next day you're not going to want tequila. So that's where I'm at right now with coffee. So I'm drinking
weird.
tea. Yeah, I know it's weird, man. So I'm drinking tea, and in my tea I'm putting in the 4-stigmatic mushroom that has caffeine in it. It's supposed to be like, a little bit of alpha brain, caffeine, stuff like that. So that's all I'm doing right now, man. That's what I'm doing. And I just have to eat every 2 hours, and I'm good to go. So my health is there. Everything's all good. I'm an escrow on a house. You guys know how stressful that is. It's ridiculous. I'm surprised they don't want my firstborn son. They need so much info to get that done. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Just part of the process. But life is good, guys. And I'm hoping by the early next week, the announcement will come from what I've been working on and this whole process. So I'm hoping they can announce it next week. Hopefully. Contracts are in place. I sign on my side, they sign on their side, and then hopefully we get a press release next week. So I'm the worst at keeping secrets.
You haven't even told any of us, at least not me.
Not really. If you've been to a live show, I told you guys.
Damn you, dude. Nice.
Yeah, I told you guys. But, yeah, so I'm sure, yeah. Either way, it's all good. There was UFC this weekend. I was working during it. I caught some of it Sunday night when everyone went to sleep. Pretty lackluster card, pretty big letdown. Eric Anders, I thought, I feel bad for Eric Anders. I've been in that kid's shoes. When I say kid, he's probably older than me. I might be a year older than him. But, we have some similarities, similar football background, athlete. He's undefeated, and then you fly down to Brazil and you fight a UFC Brazilian legend. And his showing was way better than mine when I fought Nogueira, but I don't know how many more Lyoto Machida has left in the tank. And it's when you have these vets and they want to use the name recognition of a guy like Lyoto Machida and build up a Eric Anders. And Anders active, and he's a beast, and he's very athletic and undefeated and hits like a Mack truck, and he has all these things going for him. Well, what they're sending, they're going to capitalize on Lyoto Machida's fame. They're going to sell out the arena because Lyoto Machida in his hometown. But the problem with that, if you're Lyoto Machida, you're fighting a monster in Eric Anders. And so Eric Anders had, so much going for him. And he loses in a split decision. Did he lose in a split decision? God, it's a close fight. No one got robbed. But I would imagine for the UFC, they did not want Lyoto Machida to win that fight. You want to invest in the younger guys, and that's what they're doing with Eric Anders. And I can imagine how frustrated he is. And I read a quote. They go, what do you think about, were you robbed? What do you think about the decision? He goes, it's irrelevant what I think. It doesn't matter. That's the decision. So he obviously, with his sports background and playing at University of Alabama and winning a national championship and competing at the highest level in college football, he's dealt with big losses before, and you can tell that just with his demeanor. Probably the most talked about thing on the card was the Shevchenko fight where that poor girl just got her ass beat. It was such a mismatch. It's very obvious they wanted Valentina to win that fight. It's a flyweight, so that was hard to watch. And who was the ref? Was it
Mari Yamasaki?
Mazasaki, who has a background in this. I can't believe the man still works. I got to be honest. When you make so many mistakes, it's like if there's a cop and he's notoriously known for making mistakes, how many opportunities are you going to give that man where you're affecting someone's life? Same in fighting, It's a weird reference. I know it's extreme, but in fighting, how many opportunities are you going to give that man before you just go, you know what? He's just not good at it. He's just not very good at it. In any other high-level, high-stressful, high-stake job, which is his job, being a ref in the Ultimate Fighting Championship or in a high-level mixed martial arts, there's high stakes with this job. You have to be good at it. If look at the athletes. If you're a fighter and you're not good at it, you lose your job. If you're a UFC employee and you're not good at running the social media or creating matchups, or organizing the right cities and the demographics, you lose your job. The reason why Sean Shelby and the reason why Joe Silva were there for so long, because they were damn good at their jobs. You think if they didn't put on exciting fights and didn't put on these great, fights the crowds wants to see, they would still have a job? No. For whatever reason, and when I say this, Mazasaki, right?
Yamasaki.
Mm-hmm. Yamasaki, like the motorcycle, but with a Y. No.
Yeah, you're right. Yamasaki. I forgot about the motorcycle.
Old school, right?
Yeah.
You ever been on a crotch rocket?
I did.
You look like a guy that drive a crotch rocket.
I sat on one.
But you never drove it.
When I sat on it, I realized there's no way I could ride this thing.
I can't fuck with them. They're so scary.
They're freaky.
They're so scary.
Heavy.
But the point I was making is he's not an employee of the UFC. A lot of people get this confused. When I say a lot of people, probably not our listeners. Like, my dad doesn't know that he's not an employee of the UFC. My mom thought he was an employee of the UFC. Like, how's this guy still have a job? I'm like, it's not up to them. They're subcontract. They're hired by the commissions. But you would think the commission holds some sort of responsibility here, and they just don't. But overall, the card, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? This is what we're getting lately. But there's a lot of good stuff in the works, a ton of good stuff in the works, so it is what it is. There's a fight this weekend, which is a pay-per-view, and it's, God, man, I can't. It's tough. If you're a headliner right now, man, and you think you're gonna make a ton of money headlining UFC, it's just a different animal right now. This weekend is Yoel Romero, Luke Rockhold, which is a great fight, but I hate to be shitty about it. I doubt this thing breaks 150 pay-per-views.
Damn, that low.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's free in Australia, but and listen, well, you got Mark Hunt on there. I'll say it does 200. You know what? I'll say it does 220. Around 150 to 220, no more. If it does 300, I'd be surprised. And we'll break down the card later in the show, but I'll tell you who I'm most excited for on that card. That's Curtis Blades. Mm. I think he'll be your MVP of that night. And we'll get into it when we get there. But, it's just a bummer, man. There's no marketing really going to. I can't believe they made that a pay-per-view.
This is a trippy pay-per-view.
And you look at what's going on with Frankie Edgar, and, I'm sure you have in current events, Max Holloway pulling out. Yep. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, what? And this is the second time this has happened. Before, Frankie Edgar had to pull out. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And that's when Jose Aldo stepped in. And then now, Max Holloway, who's never hurt, never pulls out, has to pull out. It's just a shame.
So close to the event, too.
Yep. And now it sounds like Brian Ortega is going to fill that slot, which I'm proud of my boy. I heard that's all but done. I don't know if they're putting on that card, but I I hate when two friends fight. I love Frankie and also I love Brian. It's such a huge opportunity for Brian. That is a tough fight for Ortega, but you cannot count that kid out. So, other than that, man, not a whole lot going on. Should we jump some current events?
Yeah, I have a question, though. You said you have to eat 2 times. I mean, every 2 hours? Why every 2 hours?
Every 2 hours. So the acidic in my body doesn't build up. If you don't eat and your stomach's empty, the acidic starts to build up. But I'm on medication.
Wow. So they actually tell you to do that so you don't
That's what they said,
acidity.
yeah. And,
Wow.
and then they said, but also eating just like straight protein's not going to do it. I need carbs. So I have to go off keto. So
That sucks.
I know. And the problem is when I'm like, oh, carbs, my fat ass, like I ate pizza and I had barbecue and, you know, it gets weird.
Yeah. You might get a little chubby.
I mean, hopefully not. I worked out for an hour and a half this morning. And I'm going to start doing, I was doing it for a long time. I'm getting back into it, hot yoga. I'm going again I go to Hot Yoga 8 in Santa Monica. I like the hot yoga. I like it hot as shit.
It looks like you get more benefits that way, yeah.
Yeah, I like it hot. I'm going to start doing it on Thursdays now. Thursday mornings.
Cool.
Just to mix it up, quit the meathead workouts. I got pissed. Hard.
Go for
hard. We're back. I've been drinking a lot of kombucha for my stomach. I'm a fan of this new kombucha. I posted it last week. It's Los Angeles based.
Yerba mate, whatever was that?
No, that was a tea.
Oh.
I'm down with that. The tea I was drinking that had sugar in it, so I try and stay away from sugar. You know what I'm doing today? After I leave here, I'll be in the Valley at 2:30 to film a cooking show with Bert Kreischer and Brian Callen.
What? Wait.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer has his own cooking show.
Yeah, I think I saw something on YouTube about it.
So silly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's trying to make a keto-friendly meal, which I would just wish he would have made something cool, like a chili or some shit. I feel like Bert should be making chili.
He looks like a chili
I feel like he'd be a beast of a chili
guy.
guy.
He does look like a chili guy.
I wish he would let me cook those burgers. I'm telling you guys, I make the meanest cheeseburger this side of fucking Japan, man.
Japan?
Yeah, that means crosses a lot of goddamn land. I make the meanest burger. Ask anybody who's ever had them. When I close in my house and I get there, I'll have a housewarming party. You come, and I'm making the burgers.
That sounds freaking awesome.
I'm telling you, I'm a beast at it. Super beast. I've been grilling since I was a kid, son. Everyone's like, you're not as good as Rogan. Rogan talks shit too. Yeah, I'm not making the fancy elk or moose knuckle dick sandwiches or the weird beer intestines or whatever the hell he does. Nah, man, I'm a goddamn American. I make the best cheeseburger ever.
You don't make the patty, though, do you?
Cheeseburger. I make the cheeseburger, steaks like fillets, salmon, ribs. I'm a beast, man.
I don't know why
got
it's
it from my
hard to
papa.
believe.
I know.
a little
I'm
hard to
telling you,
believe.
man. I'm a fucking monster at grilling. It's the one thing I can do right, guys. It's the one thing I can grill. Okay, sorry. I'm excited to do that cooking show with Bert. Bert's one of my favorite people on planet Earth.
Do you guys plan
I love
it?
Bert, man. What?
Do you guys plan a recipe, or are you guys going to just
He
put
plans a
something
recipe,
together?
and they send it. It's a whole production thing. They sent me a call sheet. They were
Wow.
like, "Hey, are you cool with this meal? Are you allergic to shellfish?" I'm like, "Nope." Brian's like, "Nope, good to go."
Dude, I can't wait to watch this thing.
I know, it's gonna be hilarious. Bert's one of my favorite people on planet Earth because he super supported me when I was first starting out in comedy at the Comedy Store. I always feel like the punter or a kicker on the football team when I'm around comics, right? You're the kind of the oddball out. And with Bert, I was getting ready to do my story for This Is Not Happening, which I'm on season 5. They're in season 4 now, so I think season 5 doesn't come out for a while. So that's a whole nother thing we'll get into. But Bert found out I was going to do it, and he called me and was like, "Hey, man, someone told me about your story. You should come over, do it for me. Let's see how I can help." So I did it, and he helped me out, and which goes
Very
such
sweet.
a long ways when you're starting out, man.
Very sweet.
Yeah. It's like I got a text from Tom Segura after I just said at the Laugh Factory. It was like Tom, D'Elia, Brian, myself. I think Rogan was on there. This is a Laugh Factory. This is a while ago, probably 2 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he sent me a text the next day. He goes, "Hey, man, you can do this." Which it just that little bit of advice goes so far, man. So far. People don't realize how big of a deal that is. Such a big deal, man. All right, let's jump into it. All I'm saying is I feel like Bert makes the meanest chili, and he like a Super Bowl Sunday chili or some shit.
It's so weird. I don't know why, but he just looks like he does.
He looks like he makes some mean chili.
He eats good chili, and he knows how to make good chili.
I'm gonna ask him.
He has a great smile too.
He's hilarious.
Brightens up a room.
He's so funny, man. All right, what do we got, bro?
All right. Okay, so when Anderson Silva failed his steroid test for methyl testosterone, they also found out that he also failed for a diuretic on top of it. So 2 substances when he's failed.
Listen, man, we all know PEDs is part of the game. Can you do better and not get caught every time? Why are you so bad at taking steroids, sir? It's such a bummer because I love Anderson Silva. He's a walking legend. And then when you see this stuff going on, you got to say to yourself, okay, was he doing this when he was the world champion, when he's the pound-for-pound greatest in the world? Where do you put him pound for pound now? If we just take PEDs out of it and you say, all right, let's say PEDs are good to go. We don't care. Where's he at on that list? God damn, he's 1 or 2. There's him and John Jones, 1 and 2. Both have had their issues with PEDs, but that's 1 and 2 if you take those results out of it. 1 and 2. It's such a bummer, man. But I will say this: it bums me out that he's being caught and it's totally ruined his reputation and his legacy and stuff like that. It's just literally trashing his legacy. Yep. But even taking that stuff does not take away from his greatness. Doesn't make sense. So when he kicked Vitor Belfort in the face, who was also on stuff, taking whatever he took, methyl testosterone, methyl testosterone, and a diuretic. That stuff's not going to help you land that front kick on Vitor Belfort's face. Now it might help you with repetition, stuff like that, but he's still as skilled as they get. He's still one of the greatest of all time. It's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. It's the same thing like with Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds. Does taking those steroids help those guys hit home runs? I think it gives them a little more power, but you can give all this. If everyone was on steroids, those guys are still going to be the leaders in home run hitting. If everyone in the UFC at that time, which I would say probably 95% of the fighters during the Anderson Silva era were on some sort of PED, so he's in a level battlefield. Does that make sense? Yeah. So with Lance Armstrong, they had to go all the way down to like 18th place to find a guy who didn't test hot for PEDs. So how is Lance Armstrong the greatest cyclist of all time? Yeah, because it's a level playing field. Mark McGuire was hitting home runs off a pitcher who's juiced to the gills as well. He's also competing with guys who were trying to keep up with him hitting home runs, juiced to the tits as well. So it's all a level playing field, man. If they're all taking it, though. Man, I especially in the Anderson Silva era, which I was also part of that. A lot of people. I would say you're looking at 90% upwards. Guys are taking some form of a performance-enhancing drug. It doesn't, and it doesn't diminish how good they were. It doesn't do any of that stuff. But with Anderson now, it's just like, I know I'm being very contradicting. I hear you. It's so frustrating, though. Yeah, it's like Jordan getting caught at the end of his career. When all those basketballs, he found out he was taking drugs, you're like, oh, fuck. You know?
Like, to me, he's completely different now. I don't see Silva the same way.
That's how the public's going to view him.
Yeah. I mean, I felt that way a little while ago already, but then this is just like, come on.
Do you have to be so bad at taking steroids? Who is helping you? Fire that guy. He just keeps getting busted. Oh, it's so frustrating. Because think about when Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva fought, you think they were both clean?
Not anymore.
And how great was that fight?
It was one of the best.
And does that diminish Anderson Silva beating him with 2 minutes left in the fight? They were both on it. Chael Sonnen was juiced to the effing gills. It's not even funny how many steroids he was taking. So does it diminish any of that?
No.
What about Brock Lesnar, Alistair Overeem? You don't think both those guys were juiced to the gills?
I guess when we know for sure that they were both on it, it's different. But with Anderson, I don't know how many people he fought when they weren't on it and he was. So the Chael and Anderson one, I get. The Brock and Reem one, I get because it was almost obvious.
Even Anderson and Vitor. Look what he did to
that
Vitor.
one too, yeah. Wait, was he on? Was Vitor on it already?
I will guarantee Vitor was on stuff.
Oh yeah, he has like a history of
that's his thing. And with Anderson, it's not like you just start doing this stuff. Now that you got the Golden Stitch out there, shout out to Nowitzki, clean up the sport. He's tarnishing a lot of legacies. But if you think about it, how long has he been doing this, man? But you look at the guys he's fighting. You know, Bonner. Bonner's been busted. We caught Bonner.
Oh yeah.
You look at all the great guys that Anderson beat. Nate Marquardt, he got busted for it.
Yeah, that era is different.
Yeah, it's just a different time. You see these older guys getting caught. It's like now, in this day and age, if a guy like Stipe would get caught, completely ruins his legacy. Stipe is obviously not doing anything, but that's just an example. Or a guy like Daniel Cormier, if he got caught, completely ruins everything he's doing.
Oh, Cormier would just be devastating.
Devastating. We'd all broken heart. I'd cry. But he's not. He's not. Neither is Stipe. So those guys in this new era of clean fighting, it shows you how much better they are than these past histories. And that's why when I look at the pound for pound rankings, you got to give those guys who have never been caught, never been associated with it, fighting a clean fight, I give them more of the nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look at it. You look at
Chris Lieben, yep. Not Rich Franklin. Henderson,
Nate
TRT.
McCart, yep.
James
Dan
Irvin,
Henderson,
did it.
yes. James Irvin, you kidding me?
Yeah. Forrest Griffin, TRT.
Damien Maya,
Probably not. But he wanted
Chael Sonnen, Belfort, Sonnen.
It's crazy. A lot of them.
Bonner. Then look, Weidman, clean. Nick Diaz, he's smoking weed. Bisping, clean. He lost that fight. Daniel Cormier, clean, lost that fight. Then you got Brunson. It's a bummer, man.
Yeah.
But you look at where all the way up to 2012, pound for pound, great. Then he gets suspended. It's such a bummer.
Yeah.
What else you got?
All right, so Cody Garbrandt has been in the headlines a lot for a few things.
Love that suit right there. That Garbrandt's wearing right there.
They all go to the
suit.
same guy, too, huh?
What'd you say?
I think they all go to the same guy. The guy that Connor goes to.
Oh, really?
I forgot his name, but yeah, I think they all go to the same guy.
In Vegas?
Yeah. And then Connor has to deal with him now for his own line.
I didn't know
Something
that.
like that, yeah. I think it was a UFC suit person, and then
Like, did they show it on Embedded or something like
Yeah.
that? Oh, that's cool. I don't watch those Embeddeds. They're good, though, right?
good,
I don't
yeah.
watch them. I should.
I'm impressed by them, yeah. They got a lot better, too.
Really? The quality's high,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They've grown a lot, so.
Yeah. Because
Before it was just a little behind the
It used to be
scenes.
like Dana, like on boats and yachts, and then Fertitta's like, we can't have this, man. And then they had to change it more about the fighters.
Yeah, definitely more about the fighters.
Carry on, though.
So he wanted, after the Max Holloway thing happened where he had to bail out because of his messed up leg, Cody Garbrandt wanted to save the card by fighting TJ Dillashaw to defend his title.
Short notice.
And he would give him part of his purse, a percentage of his purse. But obviously, TJ.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I spoke with Leister Bowling, who's neighbors of TJ Dillashaw, and was his wrestling coach, and they still wrestle every goddamn day together. Super close friend of mine. He was my head coach when I fought in the UFC. So when I was in Denver, I was speaking to him, and we were texting back and forth. So I'm all about Cody. I love Cody. Amazing fighter, amazing person. He's going to be a superstar in the UFC, and I get what he's doing. However, if you're TJ, it makes zero sense. Short notice, you just had a baby, you're not really training, and for him to get his title shot, which remember this, the Fertittas and Dana thought he beat Dominic Cruz in that split decision, and then they made him wait 2 years and fight the likes of Lineker, some monsters, man, to finally get back there. And then he got his title shot, and now he's there, and he's like, whoa, it doesn't work like that, man. I had to go through some shit to get here. Cody, I get it, man. You want the fight. I'm not doing it. He goes, you understand what your son comes to, or your baby comes. I don't know if he's having a boy or girl. He's like, you understand. You know, there's bigger things in fighting. And, you know, my eyes are set on DJ, which if I'm TJ's manager, that's exactly who I'm going after. We beat Cody. I understand Cody wants that rematch, but that's not going away. Cody's probably going to have to fight one more and then probably get to TJ. He's not going to wait 2 years. I guarantee they don't make him wait 2 years. He's too big of a star, and he's going to walk through whoever he fights next. I feel bad whoever has to fight Cody Garbrandt next. So with TJ, you want the biggest payday possible, and what they're trying to do is line it up on that July 4th card, July 7th,
yeah.
But they just do it around the 4th. They're trying to headline, or not co-headline, with DC and Stipe on that. So it makes 100% more sense if you're TJ's team to fight up the likes of DJ on a super fight. Do you have an issue with them doing 3 super fights on one card? Because they're trying to do, obviously, Stipe DC is the main one. That is a super fight. That's the best super fighting thing in a long time. Legit super fight. And then you have TJ DJ, super fight for sure, amazing fight. And then you have Amanda Nunes Cyborg.
I don't have a problem with it, but
you like it.
Seen people, a lot of people don't like it for some reason.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I see both arguments. I like it because that's gonna be one hell of a card and it's gonna do great ratings. But at the same time, too, it's almost better. Why not? This is what I would do. I would have a pound for pound, best of the best. I'd call it best of the best world tour. And I'd take those 3 fights, those 6 fighters, and go on tour all around the U.S., all around the world, just like they did with Conor and Aldo. I'd build it up so fucking big. And then I would spread it out. I'd have July, DC, Stipe. Then June, July. Then I have August, DJ, DJ, TJ. And then September, Amanda Nunes the Cyborg. And I'd have those the 3 pay-per-views. And I'd offer a package deal. But I would package this whole thing as pound for pound, best of the best. Pound for pound, or you can say, literally best of the best, world tour, best of the best. Or just call it the Super Fight World Tour and put some serious marketing behind this. Because they've never had anything like this. It's such a big deal, but if you bust your nut on just that one fight, you're gonna get good pay-per-view. I don't think it's gonna be crazy. I don't think it's a top 10 pay-per-view card. Which for these super fights, I just feel like you're putting out these lame cards right now. You're not really getting behind it. So if you go on this press tour and you call it the best of the best, or where the hell you want to call it, the super fight tour, and you spread it over 3 months, it makes people more excited for it. And then you have the super fights as the main card, and then you stack the cards, man. And you could stack over 3 months. You could stack those cards and really bring in the ratings instead of offering just this kind of these lukewarm cards or busting your nut on one giant card. That's what I'd do.
Yeah, the business side of it makes sense that way. But I mean, as a fan,
Then again, big shot.
We'll have nothing to look forward to, at least not for a little while.
And a lot of divisions are going to be held up doing all this. But the argument there is the divisions really don't have, there's no demand there. For heavyweight and light heavyweight, it's a no-brainer to do Stipe DC. There's no clear-cut winner. Gus Finn, I would like to see him fight DC, but, he's coming off that win against Blachowicz. And before that, he was having some issues. And he's been out for how many years, and he has the injuries dealing with, so it's like whatever. At heavyweight, I guess Werdum has an argument, but we've seen that fight before. He's already beat Overeem. He's going to beat everyone else. He beat Francis. He beat Mark Hunt. There's no clear-cut fight we have to see, so I don't think it's holding up the divisions at heavyweight and light heavyweight. For DJ, there's literally nothing there for him. There's nothing in the world there for him that anyone wants to see him do besides fight TJ. That's all that's left for him. Yeah. For TJ, besides Cody Garbrandt, you got Jimmy Rivera. You always got Dominic Cruz floating around there. That was the name I was looking for. Sorry about that. You got those guys, but in general, there's not a whole lot. There's no demand. I could see at lightweight, you got Conor holding it up, but at lightweight, at featherweight and welterweight, there's a big queue there. There's a big line. So I could see some of that going on. I really can. Do you have London in your headlines?
No.
So they
What about
announced
London?
finally a main event for London with Werdum and Volkov, the Bellator heavyweight champions coming. That's a tough fight for Werdum, but they announced the card originally with no main event, which is crazy. I'm not sure what is doing that, and even Michael Bisping had to tweet out like, "Yo, I am not part of this card, so just let you guys know, don't buy that card because I'm not on it." So right now, here's the full London card. You got Fabricio Werdum versus Alexander Volkov, that's a good fight. You got Blachowicz, Jimmy Manoa, Edwards, Sabata, Godbeer. It's a tough one. That's a tough one for the London fans, and that's a shame because they're some of the best fans in the world, and they deserve better.
Jeez, cards are starting to.
I know, man. I know. It's such a shame. I don't know how we got here, but that Werdum Volkov, that is not an easy fight for Werdum. Like, his last one went to decision. Before that, he whooped Walter's ass. But this Volkov fight, he has his hands full. And that if he wins that fight, then it's like, how can you not give Fabricio Werdum a title shot? How in the world can you not? What else we got?
All right. Well, this is more on Cody. So, after calling out TJ, he also said he would fight Edgar. He would move up to fight Edgar to save the card. Because Edgar tweeted out, "I'm down for anyone, any fight, any weight class. Let's save this fight card." And he tagged Dana White, Sean Shelby, and Mick Maynard. And Garbrandt answered, because they have the same manager, Ali Abdelaziz.
That's right.
He's like, "Dude, get us paid. I'm down."
That's an amazing fight. That is a super fight. That is an amazing fight. God, that would be a good fight. Oh, my word, would that be a great fight. I would love to see that. However, it's not happening. You got Frankie Edgar versus Brian Ortiz.
Ortega.
Well, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Brian Ortega.
So
I'm thinking
Ariel-
of Luis Ortiz. I apologize.
Ariel Helwani has been tweeting, and I'll refresh it after this, but this is what a series of tweets that he was talking about. He's getting the scoop on all this stuff right now.
So Ariel says Edgar versus Ortega is all but done. If that's coming from Ariel, it means it's done. The question now is whether it's the main event or not. If UFC can't find a title fight to headline 3-3 March 3rd, and thus far no luck, there's a good chance they'll turn into pay-per-view into a fight night and have Edgar Ortega be a 5-rounder. I dig that.
Then he tweets this.
It doesn't appear as though Dillashaw Garbrandt will happen on March 3rd. They also tried to book Cyborg versus
Kunitskaya.
Kunitskaya. Do not do that. But that's not happening either. Canceling the card altogether is also on the table. Wow. They tried to book Edgar Ortega on the Orlando card to beef that up, but it's too soon. Way too soon.
There's more.
So lots still up in the air. Last resort is to cancel the card. They'd rather not turn it into a fight night, but they'll have to if they can't produce a title fight. And right now, there just aren't many title fight options for less than a month away developing. What a shit show.
Yeah, they haven't often canceled cards, and it's possible
Cancel
this
a
might get
card?
canceled.
You know how devastating that'd be for all the fighters on there?
Yeah.
Who are playing on a payday, and then you got to go back to camp and reevaluate everything? Ooh. That is such a bummer, man. I hope they don't cancel it for Frankie's sake and also my sake. I got this fucking thing I shot with Frankie. Can't get into it.
Oh, damn.
God damn it.
This is so funny. Well, not really funny, but yeah.
It's funny, for sure. Definitely funny. How can you not laugh at it? Oh, man. It'd be bad news if they had to cancel a card because they can't find a big enough headliner to bring in ratings. Just turn it into a fight night. Do the fans a favor.
Yeah. that would
Have
be
Brian Ortega
awesome.
Frankie as a fight night is an amazing headline. Give us a goddamn decent card as a headline, for God's sakes. You know they increased the pay-per-view as well. $65 now. $64.99 instead of $59.99.
I think we talked about this a while ago. I still don't remember.
I don't remember. I don't think
Yeah.
we did because people were like, hey, Schaub, I don't even notice that they increased it. I noticed it. Come on. Yeah, for sure turn that fight night, though. What else you got?
More on the Max Holloway thing. Conor McGregor posted some messages after Holloway pulled out, and it's pretty funny.
That's a funny picture when there's no referee to save you. Yeah.
And then he just has his hand on Max's head, but then Max has a very interesting look on his face, so it makes it funny.
Max looks scared there. Granted, you know how long ago that was? And that's not the Max Holloway of today. It's also not the Conor McGregor of today. So it's an interesting fight. And also, when Conor beat him, he had a torn, I think, MCL in that fight.
MCL, I think.
And still beat him. So both guys are completely different fighters. I would love that fight at 55. Max Holloway, Conor McGregor at 55 is the fight.
Check out this. This is really slick. So Max Holloway tweeted back date night, and he has a Big Mac and then cupcake with like 4-leaf clovers on it.
It's hilarious.
And then he did one more, when there is, referring to the referee saves you.
He's silly, man. It's
clever.
Max Holloway's good at social media.
Yeah.
He's good at, and also what's great about Max Holloway is, you know, if you go at him, he's going to respond back, which I think guys should do. If someone's going to come after you, have some balls, come back at him. But it has to be good. But he's so respectful and he's such a champion. It's not in like a fake or like trashy way. I love Max Holloway, man. What else you got? It's a hilarious picture, by the way.
This is cool.
That ref's the worst.
Fabricio Werdum got his commentating gig back.
Yes.
For Spanish television.
That's huge, man.
He met with Dana for like 40 minutes. They talked it over. And then this is what he says. He's a company guy now. And everything is positive.
I'm a company guy now.
Yeah.
I love that because Fabricio Werdum is a monster at the UFC Now show and then is commentating for the Spanish channel. He's the voice, you know, to the fans if you're Spanish or in Portuguese, and he can do both. And he's one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And he looks good. And he's a beast of an analyst. So it was only hurting the UFC by pulling him. Mm-hmm. I don't get these moves. All right, so you're going to discipline him because he came out about what? The Reebok deal, where the fuck he did. Yep. So you discipline him. You're hurting your own brand. It's so silly. So Werdum goes, yes, I'm happy about this. I love this job. It's just not about money for money too, but it's my work. I love this work. First time I get to the TV commentary. I like it because I have a fight coming up and didn't want to do that, but now I love this. I love TV because it's Spanish for all Latin America, for the U.S. and Fox Deportes. I'm fluent in Spanish. I'm very comfortable with that. He's amazing at it.
He's really, really impressive, man.
He's so good. Yeah,
that's
he's
really
a
impressive.
smart guy. He goes, maybe stop fighting 4 years, 3 years. Have a good job. Werdum, who headlines UFC London March 17th. No job just for money, but I love this much better. Great guy. Great guy. Good for him. Happy for him. What else you got?
All right, this is going back to Mario Yamasaki. He spoke out about what happened, about not pulling the fight or stopping the fight earlier.
Oh.
So he addressed a few things, but the main point was every time he told her to move, she would move. So he didn't feel as if, you know, he wanted her to be a warrior. He wanted her to fight it out and give her that chance. That's what he was saying. But then he goes, I also recognize that I should have stopped it when she tapped the first time to the rear naked choke. I only stopped it a few seconds later.
He's awful.
About other people's opinions, it's their right to say. That's
He's
how
awful.
Yeah.
He's terrible. And so this is what's alarming. In my opinion, I allowed Patrita to be a warrior and keep fighting. That is not your job as the referee. We don't need you to dictate who's a warrior, who's not a warrior. That is not your call. She was in serious trouble, and she was so outclassed, it's not even funny. Your job is the safety. I don't need Mario Yamasaki to decide who's a warrior or not. Shut the fuck up and save those fighters so they can continue their career and live to fight another day. You are not a warrior, Mario Yamasaki, where the fuck your name is. You are not one of us. You've never been in that cage at this high of a level. You did some jiu-jitsu or whatever the fucking taekwondo background you have. You do not count. You do not get to dictate who is a warrior, who is not. At this level, hate to tell you, everyone who's ever stepped in that UFC octagon that you've reffed is a warrior. You're there for their safety, period. Do that. Don't comment on who's a warrior and who's not. That is not what you signed up for. That is not your job. You should not have a job. You and Eve Levine are some of the worst in the world. You guys hurt the sport. They hurt the sport. You are not helping us grow. Get out the way. Quit. What else you got?
All right, so CAB MMA, the Brazilian Commission, had a statement on him too. And so they're saying that they understand that errors can occur from all aspects, but they see something weird too. They said that he even though they allowed it in the commission for the fight to happen, he actually has a final word and say that he could stop the fight because he understands that Valentina is so much more better than the other girls.
Complete mismatch.
But I mean, they're saying that he could have stopped it at any time because just for that fact alone, knowing that she was a better fighter.
These commissions are so out of touch with the sport, and it's such a shit show, man. It hurts the sport. It really does. Brazilian commissions are some of the worst. It says Mario Yamasaki has been one of the best referees in MMA for the past decade. Don't get confused on being the best and just doing it for a long time. Just because you do something for a long time does not mean you're one of the best. Mm-hmm. Just because people are familiar with you, because there's not a ton of referees that we're familiar with, does not mean you're one of the best. It's a shame. What else you got?
Let me just get her name because it's hard to pronounce her name. Cachoeira.
Priscilla Cachoeira?
Cachoeira, yeah.
Cachoeira? I think it's
Cachoeira.
Yeah.
But that's weird though, right? So if a referee, like if you're a referee and you know Valentina Shevchenko is amazing and you know this girl is just, she should not belong in the cage, they're saying it's his responsibility to not let that fight happen. Like he's the final say. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, it's the Brazilian Commission.
Oh.
They let a lot of stuff go on. Don't even start on that.
Let's check. Look at this. John Fitch. Apparently, he's a free agent now, and he's in talks with Scott Coker.
I gotta be honest. No disrespect, John Fitch. I didn't know he's still fighting.
World Series of Fighting. He was.
So,
right here. He said on his YouTube channel.
I'm officially a free agent. YouTube channel. I'm in talks with Bellator, Scott Coker, and Bellator. I know hopefully we'll work something out by the end of the week. I think Bellator's probably his only landing spot. I'd like to see him in Bellator. That'd be great, man. Mm-hmm. Him, Roy McDonald would be an amazing fight. Douglas Lima.
Yeah.
Korshkalov. Daly's not fighting. Daly's out of there. Larkin would be a great fight. There's a lot of interesting matchups. The welterweight division's building up. I'd be down for that. Again, no disrespect. I didn't know he was still fighting. What else you got?
All right. Okay, so Carolina Kovacevic, she said she would rather rematch Joanna than fight Rose for the title. And she thinks that Joanna is a fraud because of a few things. She says that just her blaming the weight cut is Joanna's way of sort of psychologically giving herself an excuse as to why she lost the fight.
Agree 100%.
So that's what she truly believes.
Yeah, I agree with her on that. It's a bummer because you don't want to hear that from Joanna. She is one of the greatest, if not the greatest female fighter of all time at that weight class. I think Cyborg's the greatest of all time, but at that weight class, and she's so skilled. When I see excuses like that, I'm like, oh my God. Especially when she referenced, she goes, and that, ask Ronda. That's what happened to Ronda when she fought Holly. I'm like, oh my God, you do not want to be associated with that loss and Ronda's loss. If there's anything that you could take away from Ronda's downfall is how not to handle a loss. You literally you lose half your fan base when you handle losses like that. So when you make excuses, oh, it's my weight cut, it's this. We don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear that. Do you want Tom Brady to hear that he had a fight with his girl the night before, or he had a bad meal the night before, and that's why they lost the Super Bowl? What? Could it be that the Eagles were pretty fucking good? Could it be that Rose has been practicing that left hook that knocked you out for, 8 years now? We're not trying to hear this stuff. It diminishes your product, which is you as a fighter. I hate when Joanna did that. I actually agree with Shevchenko on this.
Kovacevic.
Yeah, and she goes, doesn't Joanna use her own brain? Joanna saw that she had too much weight to cut.
I mean, it's a really good point.
Right? No, I'm 100% on board with Shevchenko. I'm a huge Joanna fan. Kovacevic, sorry. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of her. But she's right. Like, you know as a fighter, as you get close, where you should be around, if you're on track, if you're not. Like, you have to take some kind of, credit. And you have to own up to that you fucked up. You made mistakes. It's not all on the team, but for Joanna, and I think for a lot of these high level fighters and these champions, they have to point at that because they can't put it on themselves. Like, that would never happen. No, it's on them, which is not the way to go. I agree with it. Such Kovacevic, she's right, man.
Cool. All right, the next one is DJ saying that Dillashaw shouldn't be in the same talk as him as far as pound for pound greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. What's he go on to say?
A lot
Depends
of things,
how he frames it.
like the Dominic Cruz thing, how DJ beat Dodson twice and TJ lost to Dodson, and all the competition he's had and how many defenses and everything else.
Yeah, no, I mean, DJ's right as far as the greatest pound for pound of all time, because TJ does have his losses. You know, to be the pound for pound great, it's a whole body of work, man. There's so much that goes into it, and there's so many different aspects, and some people think this and some people think this, you know. So DJ's right, because pound for pound and the way he beats people, and he hasn't any losses, and he's been champion for how many years now? He's defended more times than anyone in the world, where TJ, you know, he didn't do that. So you can't be in the same discussion. But I will say this. TJ has been fighting tougher competition than DJ. So there's that, but it doesn't matter. It's being undefeated for how long, it's winning how many in a row, it's defending the belt how many times, no matter what division you're in, and it's how you're doing it. There's no really close decisions with DJ, you know, and TJ, you know, he got the belt, then he lost it, and they had the split decision with Dominic Cruz, and, you know, so... I agree with DJ at a certain point, but TJ has been facing stiffer competition.
True. What do you think is when he says that when his last fight against Cody, the fact that he got dropped, that weighs in his mind too, why he's not?
No, if anything, that shows you how much of a champion TJ is, to fight back from adversity, get dropped, come back, and then knock the guy out. I actually like that in my champion. With Anthony Joshua, here's a boxing reference for you. With Anthony Joshua, you know, he's just walking through guys, and then when he fought Klitschko and he gets dropped, it's like, oh, now we find out, is he legit? Is he the real deal or not? And he comes back, and you have the greatest heavyweight fight in boxing history. He ends up knocking Klitschko out. Now we know that we can ride and die on this guy, that when the going gets rough, he's not a paper champion. He's not some punk who gets dropped, and when the adversity's in his face, he takes his ball and goes home. You know, we've seen that with other UFC champions that bums you out. And they go to the WWE. You know? Like, how much of a bummer would it be if a guy like, you know, DC lost and then blamed on everyone and then refused to talk about it with the WWE? It'd bum me out. But with Anthony Joshua, you know, there's so much hype on him. And when you get punched in the face, how are they going to respond when everything's not going great for him? When the guy they're fighting is just as good? When they're in a battle? I like that. I don't want to see my gym just walk through everybody. And also, again, this is points to I'm making where DJ right now is pound for pound great, but his level of competition, he's walking through everyone because, you know, he fought a guy who was 7-0. He fought a guy who wasn't a natural, you know, 125er. He's not fighting the best of the best just because there's not that many in his division. What else you got?
All right. How about this? Boxing. Bob Bennett, head of the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
No.
They're going to continue to keep Adelaide Bird, the girl that...
Holy shit.
The lady that made the draw in the Triple G.
What?
No, they're not moving forward for the next fight. They're just moving forward with her as they're keeping her on. They're not like getting rid of her. Oh, but
she's not judging.
They haven't said she would or wouldn't. Oh, my
God.
But they're keeping her on.
How crooked is boxing?
Yeah.
That's insane. That lady still has a job in any aspect of boxing after what she did. Oh, my God. That lady's so crooked. That makes me sick. She's still involved in the sport. These commissions, man. Whew, they're like the NCAA. The commissions, NCAA, two most crookedest businesses in the world besides politics. What else you got?
I think that's pretty much it for that.
There's not a ton, right?
Well, this is the last one maybe then. So UFC will take action to prevent Mario Yamasaki type situation.
How? I don't
We'll be working with commission to make sure a situation like this doesn't happen again. First and foremost, her health is the issue. Priority.
See, Dana White goes, Mario Yamasaki should never work a UFC event again.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
A lot of people are saying that now, like
I know,
across the board.
I know, but if you're the UFC, what leverage do you have against the commissions? They decide all this stuff. They even decide which fights he does. Like you'll see Herb Dean or Big John, who Big John not anymore, obviously with Bellator, but you'll see the bigger guys. If it's a big main event, like a light heavyweight, middleweight, heavyweight fight, you have those refs in there. They're bigger guys that can stop the action.
I did hear somewhere that the UFC could have had it to where he didn't ref that specific fight. That
really,
area,
they decide who does the main event.
I heard
stuff?
they could have done something to prevent
God,
it.
I don't know if they.
Yeah, I don't know.
Click on that Dana White article right there.
He should never fight again.
Yeah,
not fight. Never ref again in a fight.
Keep going
So
down.
that's Dana's.
So Dana says, Priscilla Correa, you showed so much heart and toughness in that fight. I'm honored to have you fight in the UFC. Unfortunately, the ref is there to protect you, and Mario did not do that. This isn't his first disgusting performance in the octagon. Another unfortunate thing is I can't do anything about it. Only the Brazilian Commission can. I'm hoping after this scary and incompetent showing, he hopefully will never set foot in the octagon again. Strikes landed was 230 to 3.
Jeez.
Oh, my God. It makes you sick, man.
Yeah, it's weird. I heard something like the UFC could have done something to prevent
I don't
this.
think. I'm telling you, they typically can't. The commission runs all that. Jesus Christ. The only thing the UFC could do there is you don't pair up a girl like Priscilla.
That's huge.
Yes, that's on them. They got to take a little bit of responsibility with that. But still, Mario, what are you doing? And then Dana says, for the morons, says it's her UFC debut. It's the entire division debut. There will be fights like this until the entire division starts to weed out and belongs who doesn't. That's why you need good officials to stop fights when they need to be stopped. Yes and no. I mean, you know that girl. We all know that girl had no business being there. There's a reason why Carolina was, what was she, fucking...
Valentina,
she was minus 900 or some shit.
Huge favorite.
Minus 750. That's a little bit on the UFC. But it's mainly on Mario, for God's sakes. If he's your ref, you should be going, oh my God.
That's weird. He has training too. It's just
He's a moron.
I don't know about fighting, but
He's a moron.
Too.
Yeah, he should not be fighting. God, when I say fighting, he should not be involved in fighting. Maybe in like a taekwondo sparring match or some shit. I don't know. All right, you got your UFC 221 pay-per-view, which is Saturday night and is on at 7 p.m. Pacific from Perth, Australia. Shout out to Australia, one of my favorite places on earth. Remember when went to Australia?
One of my favorite times ever, too.
Great time.
Dublin.
Great time. Great people. Great crowds. Great fighters. Great kangaroos. Anyways, so for this fight, God, man, it's just, I don't know what's going on. I don't want to get too negative. Let's just do the main event, co-main event. You got Mark Hunt versus Curtis Blades. And I said this at the beginning of the show. Curtis Blades is a guy who was a JUCO national champion and came to high altitude martial arts with Cody Donovan and Christian Allen, who are my former coaches and very good friends, some of my best friends. And I always find this interesting because whenever you talk to someone from these camps and when they talk about a certain fighter and the way they talk about them, you realize that they got something special. And I have never heard Cody Donovan talk about and Christian really talk about a fighter like Curtis Blades. They go, dude, he came to us. He was just a straight up wrestler. And he goes, what you see in the octagon is 1/10 of what he does in practice. I mean, they bring in big time guys to train with him. He just mops the floor with them. They go, we can't find a tough enough training partner. We wish you and Shane were still around because you guys would have had the best practices, training, sparring matches of all time because he's such a monster. And, you know, he had his one hiccup against Francis Ngannou, which was in 2016, which was in Croatia. And I'm sure that fight would go different now. I would even go on a limb to say if he knew what we know now about Francis Ngannou, he would beat him pretty easily now if he used his wrestling more wisely in that fight. So that being said, you know, you look at Mark Hunt. It is, you know, it's not a homecoming for him. He's not from Australia. He's from New Zealand. But, you know, he has that – his last win was June against Derek Lewis, which is nothing, just a skim past. And then, you know, he gets flatlined by Alistair Overeem, and then the Brock Lesnar beat down, but obviously that was a whole mishap. But before that, man, you know, Frank Mir knockout, Bigfoot Silva knockout, the Stipe beatdown, the Werdum one was rough, the Roy Nelson knockout. He's one of the greats. And you look at his record, it's kind of a salty record, but it doesn't matter. Mark Hunt is literally a walking legend and one of my favorite fighters of all time to ever compete in mixed martial arts and kickboxing, K1. He's had a lot of tough losses. He's had a lot of great wins, but you're always going to tune in when Mark Hunt fights. Always, always, always. He had, when he got pulled from the Australian main event and Werdum had to step in because he's worried about brain trauma, stuff like that. And when I hear that, I look at his age and you look at a guy like Curtis Blades. And again, this fight is very similar to what's going on with the Lyoto Machida, where they give you a young upcoming guy who they're invested in, who shows promise. They're trying to capitalize on old vets demographic and fan base. The only difference is the last thing to go in any fighter is their power. And for a heavyweight like Mark Hunt, who is the hardest hitter, who I still think is even a harder hitter than Francis, you have to watch your P's and Q's against him. That being said, I think Curtis Blades is at a perfect time to take a fight against a vet like Mark Hunt, who has seen everything. Of course, everyone wants to take Mark Hunt down. If you stand with him and be in trouble, unless your name's Alistair Overeem. Yeah, do we know the odds on this?
Right here. So Blades
Curtis
is
Blades is
favorite.
minus 155. Mark Hunt's plus 150, 135. So it's close. I was hoping Curtis would be an underdog, so I give you guys an underdog pick. I like Curtis Blades in that fight. I will say by decision. Goes 3 rounds. Curtis Blades gets in a little bit of trouble, but he gets it done through takedowns. Not the most exciting fight of the night. But Curtis Blades gets a huge win. Then the main event, Yoel Romero, Luke Rockhold. I'm not mad at this fight at all. I'm mad at our boy Whitaker. I'm not mad at Whitaker. I'm mad that the fight didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm such a big Whitaker fan. You guys know I'm a dick rider for Whitaker now. I think he's the perfect size. He's what he's putting together right now. He gives so many guys trouble. I was dying to see him versus Luke Rockhold. Didn't happen. He had staff. Hopefully he'll be better now. So you got the interim middleweight title. Get another interim. So Yoel Romero versus Luke Rockhold's a great fight. Amazing fight. I think if Luke Rockhold is ready and has everything together and his camp's good, and he's been training with DC and he's been training with his original team, his issue is that left hook. He seems to have some sort of block in his game at acknowledging and recognizing the left hook. In the Bisping fight, in some of his other fights, he's still getting hit. In that David Branch fight, as much as a tune-up fight as that was, there were scary times when David Branch landed a lot of big shots, which is scary. So, he did beat David Branch. He actually broke David Branch. And that was a good warm-up fight. You can't really warm up against a guy like Yoel. But if you look at Luke Rockhold's pedigree and you look at the guys that he's beat, and a lot of people don't know this, he beat Jacare Souza in a decision. He's beat Tim Kennedy in a decision. And the reason why I point those two guys out, because those guys have amazing cardio and they're fucking grinders and they're nightmares to compete against. And Luke Rockhold can bite down his mouthpiece and get it done. The other thing is with Yoel Romero. Yoel Romero's always kind of the bigger, stronger guy in the cage. He won't be Saturday night. Luke Rockhold is a massive, massive middleweight. He's actually probably the biggest middleweight in the division. And he also has the skills to back it up. He has very underrated grappling. Look what he did against Branch. Branch is a Renzo Gracie, John Danaher black belt through and throughout, and he made him look amateur. Got to mount, did work, and then choked him out. Well, basically submitted to punches. But that he had started on the ground. He took him down and did work. He has very, very underrated grappling, and it's some of the best, if not the best, in the middleweight division. Besides Jacare, but he did beat Jacare before. For Yoel, he rides and dies off his athleticism. He has that flying knee. That flying knee is not going to be an asset for him in this fight because Luke Rockhold really doesn't shoot like that, like a traditional freestyle wrestler. He really doesn't level change like that. He's very long, likes to stand on the outside, likes to use kicks. I think he might get Luke down. That being said, Luke stands right back up. Luke's a much bigger man, and he's actually a lot better on the ground. The one advantage that Yoel will have in this fight is in the clinch and the grappling, but I don't think that's a big enough advantage to beat Luke Rockhold. If Luke Rockhold is training with his AK team, he has the right frame of mind, I think he gets a TKO in the second round against Yoel Romero. So I will take Luke Rockhold via TKO second round.
Sweet. Let's see who's the favorite. Oh, it's close too.
They're both close fights. Yeah, I think. So you got. Man, they got all those weird names on there, but I've never heard of most of those companies. So you got -145, +115. Those are so close in MMA. It's basically even money. All the fights on this card, there's no huge favorite. There's really not, as far as the main card goes. Either way, though. I like the fights. I like Curtis Blades, Mark Hunt. I like Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero. Those are fun fights. Is it a pay-per-view? No. But I will definitely get it. I will be watching. You think Yoel's going to win? If Brian was here right now, and we'll get his opinion tomorrow on the Fire and the Kid, because Brian loves both these men, but I assume Brian picks Rockhold.
I think Rockhold too, but I take Hunt though.
You take Hunt? Yeah. That's fair. I see that. I can easily see that. I'm obviously biased. Curtis Blades trains with my old team. You know, I'm biased. I am. Mm-hmm. And you guys know this. But I will take Curtis Blades. And I hate picking against Mark Hunt because I actually love Mark Hunt. But
he looks good now too.
Mark Hunt?
Yeah. Looks like leaner, a lot leaner.
That's trouble.
Yeah.
And as heavyweights, they can go later into the age, and he's going to be a handful for him, no doubt. So there you got it. I got Rockhold via, I say, second round TKO. I could even see it going third or fourth round TKO, but I'll call second round right now. Really, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I think it happens later in the rounds. I think as the cardio kicks in and Yoel starts to get tired like he does and he can't rest, Luke's going to land a body shot and then a head shot and put him away. So I will say third round TKO, Luke Rockhold. I retract my second round. I will say third round. And then Curtis Blades via decision. Should we jump to some fan questions?
Sounds good.
Do it like we always do, man. I'll start at the bottom, you start at the top. This is the best way to rip these off.
I'm good to go. You want me to start?
Go ahead, man.
All right. Michael B763. With DC moving up to heavyweight, do you think Rockhold will move up to light heavyweight if this fight doesn't go his way? Or even if it does?
Yeah, I think no matter what happens. So what I think for Rockhold, what happens, I think he gets this win. I think he fights Whitaker. No matter what happens in that Whitaker fight, he'll move up to light heavyweight. And he's going to be such a handful at light heavyweight. Probably be your world champion at light heavyweight, especially once DC's gone. Gustafsson could give him some issues because Gustafsson's very similar, but he's bigger. But I think overall, Luke Rockhold, it should be at light heavyweight. And will do very, very, very well there.
Cool.
At MG Protoco, why is Luke so goddamn handsome? I don't know. He's a model, man. What do you want me to do?
That's it. I got one. Mike Reyes, or Mike_Reyes 14. Will Rockhold use his kicks against a wrestler like Romero?
All day. You think Rockhold doesn't throw kicks against Kane, DC, Nagomedov all day long and realizes what the repercussions? Also, he's a nightmare to take down if you do get a hold of that leg. Also, when you start to reach for that leg, he starts to go up top. So I would assume his kicks will be the difference. Staying long range like he does. He's a nightmare matchup for Yoel Romero. I actually can't think of a worse matchup for Romero in this fight. At RHYSSG. Love the show. How long does the excitement and high after a crushing set you've been really nervous about be winning a fight by knockout? How much satisfaction do you get knowing how long you train, honed your skills for a specific set or fight? So the difference is how long crushing a set, how long does it last when you're nervous before? Maybe 20 minutes and then you move on. The fight a little longer because there's a whole training camp. You know, you're doing interviews for it. There's a big deal. It's just different. It's just completely different. It's different because the set, I can typically know if it's going to go well. You know, I've honed it. I've worked it in the road. I've worked it here in LA. I know what's going to laugh, what not gets laughed. Sometimes different crowds laugh at different things, but you know overall the package is good. In fighting, I can think I've had the best camp ever, the best training partners. I'm healthy. I go in there and you find out that guy's actually better than you and you lose the fight for whatever reason. It's just different. At Luke Murphy, if Rockhold loses, does he retire? No, that's silly.
I got one. V_Low Brown. This is actually, I'm curious about this too. Would you ever consider a stint in the WWE if given the opportunity?
Would I consider a stint in the WWE?
What if it was just like a
It was a one-time deal. Yeah, I'm not going on the road with
with
the boys, like freaking. Oh yeah, brother, Big Brown, yeah, Monday Night Raw. Here we go. No, I'm not doing that. I'd be down to do like one thing with them or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, listen. To pull that WWE stuff, you have to be pretty special. You look at, Tito Ortiz tried it. A lot of other people tried it. You got to have personality, which is makes me a little uneasy about Ronda's announcement in WWE. She's not exactly the best personality for the WWE. I'm sure they're going to navigate around that. Hopefully, she does well. At GP Triple Sticks, any update on the crazy strong French homeless guy at Box and Burn? Saw him today when I was working out. Still smells like caca, still lifting strong as fuck, and he has the high daddy jeans on. His jeans are so high up. They're so high up. And he leaves his luggage at the front and just does work, man. I stay out of his way because I don't want to rip my dick off.
you want another one?
Sure.
Lewis_Marina87. Are you working with Showtime for any 2018 boxing fights?
Yes.
That's it.
I'll have an announcement for you soon. At LC Crowder 1990. Are Chin and Cal actually going to move around? If so, when? We got to get that going, man.
But yeah, that's happening.
That's happening. I have a shirt. I'm doing a collab with Roots of Fight for it. I have the poster artwork. We got to get this going.
Yeah. You want one?
Sure.
This is a personal one. Kane_Hurlbert. What is one of your traits that you hope your son gets and one that you hope he doesn't get?
One I hope he gets is I hope he's funny and creative and has a work ethic. One that I hope he doesn't get.
It's a tough one, huh?
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I definitely have some major flaws.
But you never want to talk about flaws, right?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think which one I don't want to get because flaws is what makes who you are. I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe next time after some more thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. No, let me try and answer it. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, but I'm not like that. But he's going to grow up in a world where cell phones and Instagram and social media. I didn't grow up with cell phones and Instagram, so you're not competing with all those people. You're not self-conscious like most kids are these days. So I hope he doesn't grow up super self-conscious or worrying about other people's opinions more so, than I did growing up. So I think it's a huge asset when you don't give a fuck what people say online. I see is a bad example, and a lot of you aren't going to follow this, but you see Cardi B, who she's constantly saying, hey, haters, I know you guys are going to say this, and I can see it shaping her art and shaping who she is, and I think it does not end well for her. And I see it with some fighters, too. They care about what people say on social media or even athletes, and you find out Kevin Durant had troll profiles, and he'd go out, because he's so worried what people say, and I think that ends up hurting you in the end. And when I say this, I truly mean this. I don't give a fuck. It does not sway me one way or another. I feel like those opinions, if it's positive, and I love people that leave positive comments, and I see those, and I appreciate that. But if there were no positive and they were all negative, it would not bother me. Because what I'm doing, I don't ask for the advice of people that I do not know. I don't care if they don't like something or they disagree with something. I literally, when I say this, I do not care. For the people that are supportive and they're like, yeah, I love this and love that. I love those people and I'm all about that, But for the people that are negative or are on forums and create troll accounts, I view those people the same I'd view a homeless guy critiquing my art or critiquing my set or critiquing a podcast. They do not matter. It literally does not matter to me.
I mean, not
because the person who would go out of their way to create that account or to live in their mom's basement or whatever job they're working could not even fathom the amount of work it takes to pull off something, whether it's a set or a good podcast or a business or merchandise or, it's just, it does not matter, and I hope my son, I hope other people, they start to discredit those people even more. Because the type of person that were to go on YouTube and leave a negative message, to even create an account to be that way is, I don't associate with those people. I don't know those people. It does not matter to me. So when people lets that affect their mood or their life, it's mind-boggling. It's crazy to me. What do you care? It'd be the same as if a cat created a profile.
That's a good example.
Who cares?
A cat.
Even a homeless guy. If a homeless guy was just creating a profile and talking shit, it doesn't matter.
But
they're all the same.
If it's a nice homeless guy. I mean, either way, yeah. You're just saying any person, anything, whatever. It doesn't matter what they say.
Yeah, if it's not positive, it does not matter. You got to create, and the type of person to leave a negative Yelp review, like create an account and the effort it takes, like it's so crazy to me. I'm like, oh my God, there's a reason why you're leaving a Yelp review at a McDonald's and you wonder why you can't get your shit together. That's crazy to me. But kids coming up in the world today have to be so self-conscious about that because you're seeing Kylie Jenner, you're seeing Donald Glover, you're seeing these superstars who are putting stuff out there, and you got to compete with that. And I feel sorry for them because they're coming up in a world where they're seeing this stuff and they're competing with that stuff. And when I was a kid, I wouldn't compete with that. My heroes were actually heroes because I didn't see them live in social media. I thought Junior Seau actually pissed gold. I thought Adam Sandler did not take shits. We didn't see all this background stuff and all this content of your heroes, which it's good and bad, but you realize, they're just like us, which kind of bums you out sometimes.
That's another scary one too, though. With you remember when you're going to like junior high or I don't know, maybe even like high school, and like say you were fat or something was wrong with you, and then the social media was around back then. Dude, that would have been so hard to deal with if everyone started getting up against you.
Because you had to deal with the next morning at school, and it's just that small circle.
I can't imagine.
But then imagine going home and then you get online, you're addicted to your phone, you want those likes, you want that confirmation, you're just getting shit on. That'd be awful, man. I can't imagine it. I want my kid to have enough confidence where that stuff doesn't bother.
That's real good.
That's what I want. Oh, that was a long rant. At Ricky W73, Brendan, have you been offered steroids? If so, how did it transpire? What fight, if offered at the right price, would bring you out of retirement? So first of all, I spelled my name wrong, Ricky. And then have you been offered steroids? Not really. When I was coming up, it wasn't, I didn't have the money. I didn't really hear about it. I know guys had doctors, but I didn't even fathom it because I couldn't afford it. And then what fight, if offered at the right price, would bring you out of retirement? There's not one, man. Oh, for sure spell my name right, though.
Can I give you one real quick?
Sure.
All right, Philly Kid 808. How much genuine intensity did you personally feel from different fighters that you faced off with when you squared off during weigh-ins?
It's all hoopla. It's
really?
All bullshit. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. Rothwell didn't look me in the eye, and he's an absolute killer. Me and Matt got into it, but that was just selling the fight. Those stare downs mean nothing. They're all hype.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry to tell you,
Dang.
It's all bullshit. It has literally nothing to do with the fight.
You want another
one? Sure.
William Off Ill. Basically, the question is, how do you do your writing? Do you do it on notebooks, note cards, set aside time during the day?
Yeah, Brian and I talked about this a little bit yesterday on Fighting the Kid. I like to do it on actual physical paper, but for me, I'll come up with bullet points, and then I tell the story in my head. Like I have a few bullet points, I can run with it there, and then if I have like a punchline or a button on the joke, I'll write that down. But in general, it's bullet points. I never write out the entire story. I store it in my head.
That's a good technique.
But I do a lot of writing, yeah. A lot of Yamasaki stuff. You do one more, I'll do one more.
All right. You want me to go first? Or you?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, this is going back to me and Callan. So the MENYC. Will you be reffing Callan versus Chin?
Hell yeah, I will be.
And will you be throwing the heart sign like Yamasaki?
What should I do? I need to come up with some sign. And then we need to have ring men, not ring girls. Ring men. Oh, man. Hashtag me too.
Oh,
no. At Kilo_Ben92. When's your On It Keto package coming out? Aubrey Marcus actually in town tomorrow. And tomorrow morning we're going over the contract and everything. So I'd assume soon. At Ivor Allah. I just heard 2 YouTube stars fought on stream with 1 million concurrent viewers. There's a real market for Callan and Chin fight. When and where, please? Well, so you just said 2 YouTube stars. Brian and Chin aren't 2 giant YouTube stars. They're stars, but I don't think we're pulling in a million. Okay. It'd be hilarious if we did. At Sigraphogram, did you notice Callan's mullet in the last T-Fat-K? I didn't, but I know he had someone's kid cut his hair, or he cuts his own hair. So, of course, his hair's shitty. And it's barely there, so of course.
He did have a little skirt thing. I saw, yeah. I thought I was just tripping.
Ooh, I hope it's there tomorrow so I can roast him. Do you think it's at James Uno 24? Do you think it's bullshit that Terrell Owens isn't a first round Hall of Famer? Yes, and I think it's because he was a bad teammate, but he should definitely be a first round. How many pay-per-views? I already told you guys that. Give me one more, Chin. I'll do one more.
All right. Can't find it, but one guy asked about, did you notice that Tyson Fury was trying to dodge a call out from Cannon Briggs? Did you?
Shannon Briggs?
Yeah, Shannon Briggs. Yeah, I
just don't think he wants to fight him. Just Shannon's not that big of a name. He's older. At This Is Toddy's, this pay-per-view sell more than 250 pay-per-views? God, it's somewhere around there, I think.
Oh, the guy that asked was Zach the Impaler.
At Rec_Hemerson, we are very curious about how Brian's pilot did last week. Is there any update? I think he finds out today.
Oh, man.
We know it did very well. I think we found out today. I can't imagine them not picking it up. God, I hope they pick it up for him.
It debuted at number 1.
Yeah, it did. God, I hope they gets picked up. At Moses_Casalia, if you could pick any comedian, dead or alive, to open up for you, who would it be and where? Jim Carrey at the Comedy Store. That's a legit question. Matthew_Will808. Do you really think the DC Stupid fight is going to sell? DC isn't a pay-per-view seller. Average fan not interested, you know? Yeah, I agree. I don't think... we haven't got the numbers on Stipe Francis, have we? There's nothing out there, right?
I'll take a look right now.
But yeah, when we say those super fights, when I say super fights, I don't think, a super fight has to necessarily be a huge media frenzy and a pay-per-view draw. I go matchup style. So, if they decide to put those 3 pay-per-views on a card, that card does not break 1 million pay-per-views. It just doesn't. With those guys, unfortunately, it doesn't. So.
No.
Nothing, right?
No.
Yeah, UFC doesn't really release it, but we usually get numbers somewhere. We have no idea, huh?
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
Not yet, at least.
Weird. Yeah, unless it's good, we really don't hear about it. One more. Does Anderson IS3_C6 for sure change your name? But does Anderson Silva fight again? No. He might do boxing against Roy Jones or some shit.
We have the revenue for Live Gate. Does that matter?
Nope. Boston always sells. Right. We'll end on this one. At Rafferty_Daniel, are you still planning on going on the Hot Ones? The guy who runs Hot Ones never hit us up. We were supposed to do it, then we couldn't go to New Orleans and film it. Now I'm doing a cooking show with Bert Kreischer today, so hopefully Hot Ones hits us up. I'd love to do it, but we just missed each other, and then he quit reaching out, so hopefully it happens. We need to hit him up. We'll end on this. Trav for stick. And why do you say Fedor is out of the talks as GOAT? Because PDs, but not Jones? Because Jones didn't test for actual, like, straight up steroids. That's why. Like, look at Anderson Silva, that's straight up steroids. And we'll wait to see where Jones is at on this new stuff. All right, we'll end there.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Enjoy the fights this weekend if you're into it. For me, I will be in La Jolla the end of the month, 23rd through the 24th. That's a Friday, Saturday at the Comedy Store in La Jolla, basically San Diego. And then in March, Florida just got announced. I'm in Palm Beach, Tampa Bay, and Orlando. Tampa is, I think there's 5 tickets left in Tampa, and Palm Beach is selling well as well. 2 shows in Tampa. 2 shows in Palm Beach. One on Friday night, one on Saturday night, and then Sunday night is Orlando, and that I guarantee will sell out very quick. So Orlando, get your tickets right now. tfatk.com. Florida, I'm coming. San Diego, I'm coming. Get your tickets. As always, thank you for listening. Bigger, browner, badder. I love you guys. I'm out.